Hi guys, Hysteria today by Muse. We're going to be looking at some of Matt Bellamy's style of guitar. He has a lot of effects on his guitar, so there's all sorts of whammy pedals and delay going on. So if you really want his sound, you know, you need to mess around with those sort of foot pedals and things like that. We're going to look at the intro bit I just played there. We'll look at the bass line as well that's in the intro, because that goes through the verse, and a lot of the time Matt Bellamy is not really actually playing anything, so you can play the bass line in the verse. Then we'll look at the chorus. Those little sort of bits leading up to the solo, and then we'll go through the solo. I'll put the solo at the end so that if you just want to jump straight to the solo, you can just skip to the end of the video. Cool, let's get going. So the first thing we're going to go through is the bass line at the beginning. So it starts on the A string. Basically you just stay on one string. There's four phrases, each one stays on one string. So on the A string you have two open strings. In the right hand for the whole thing you just want to be doing alternate picking. And there's a few times when it feels a little strange, but it's the way that you'll get up to speed. So yeah, you've got two open strings, then 10, 0, 10, 12 with your ring finger. Then you have open string again, 10, open, 7, open, 8, 8, which I like to swap to my ring finger for, 7, 5, 7. So that second half. Next line on the E, two open basses, then 10, bass, 10, 12. Then you have bass 15, ring finger, bass 12, index finger, bass double 15, you can either go ring finger or first finger. Then you want to go 0, 15, 17, which would be first finger to ring finger. So I'll just play that second half again. Then the D string is the next line. This is a good one to learn as well because it's the lead-in that Matt Bellamy plays on the guitar before the solo. He plays that on the A string, but the notes are exactly the same. So two open strings again, 10, 0, 10, 12, so the same as it's been all the way through. Then we have 0, 10, 0, 10, 9, 0, 9, 8, 0, 8, 7. Again, nice and slow. I'll just play that line through nice and slow. Then you're back to the A string, which is the same as the first lick we played, but with only 1 0 at the beginning, because this 7 we've just played on the D is actually the first note of the next bar. So it just becomes 1 open, 10, 0, 10, 12. And that's the bass line. You can play that through the verse as well, because Matt Bellamy's not really playing anything, and that's in the background. The guitar intro, the bit I played at the beginning, has this little rhythm. So you've got the slide in. The first one's to 12 and 14, so you're sliding into that chord. Then after that you have down, up, down, down, up, down. Then you come up to 16 on the G. You're going to bend it up half a step to 17. So you want to hear that note, bend up to it, bend back, then come back to 14 and give it some vibrato. I like to carry on using my ring finger because it means when you're doing these slides, your ring can just stay on that G, but you can come back and play it with your first finger, whichever you prefer. So the 4 sort of chords, they're octaves, so we've got an A octave, then you have your, then you come in with A flat, then you come in with F, this bend bit's always the same, then you come in with E. Apart from on the E, where you're going to bend it up and down twice, so bend, release, just the one pick, and then it goes round again. So now the chorus, you're going to go on a similar rhythm to what we just played in the intro. You've got 4 power chords. You've got C, G, D, and A. You're going to slide into each one, so if you come in just from a fret behind or a little bit further if you're confident with it, that's going to be your first downstroke. So down, then you're basically playing in 3s. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And then the next down is that slide we did at the beginning. So you have an extra, you play the slide in on C, and then that last down of the last group of 3 is the slide for the next one. So I'll just play through all the chords. So C, slide into G, slide into D, slide into A. Go back to the intro bit. The last bit before the solo is the lead-in that he plays on his like distorted guitar. It's exactly the same as the line we played in on the D. So I'll just run through it once more. So 0, 2 0, sorry, 10, 0, 10, 12, 0, 10, 0, 10, 9, 0, 10, 9, 8, sorry, 8, 7. And you play that 3 times. Then you come in and you play the same line as we played on the E in the intro on the bass. 0, 10, 0, 10, 12, 0, 15, 0, 12, 0, 15, 0, 15, 17. And then we're into the solo. So for the solo, it's pretty much split into 2 parts. You've got this first bit which then repeats, and then the second bit which is slowed down. The first bit is the... So, we'll look at that first, then that bit repeats round. You have, again we're looking at this alternate picking, just swap strings. So you play 2 on the G, 2 on the E, so down, up, down, up. You could go up, down if you preferred. You're going to go 14 and 12, so you've got 14 on the G with your ring, then you want to mute the B string with your ring as well, and have your first finger on 12 on the E. So this ring finger is quite flat. And you play 2 on the G, 2 on the E. Then you do the same, bring your middle finger into 13. Then you play 2 on the G, 13, 13, 12, 12 on the E. So you stay 4 notes on the E. And 14 on the G, 12 on the E to finish the phrase. So that phrase nice and slowly. Keeping that alternate picking going. Then you come to 13 and 12, middle finger to 13 on the G, keep that B string muted. Same pattern, 13, 12, 13, 13, ring finger comes in, 13 on the G, then this same 4 notes on the E, 13, 13, 12, 12, then 13, 12 on the E. That 9 nice and slow. Then you come back to 14 on the G but 13 on the E, so it's middle finger on the E, ring finger on the G. Same thing, 2 Gs, 2 Es. 14, little finger to 17, it's a little bit of a stretch. 14's again on the G, 13's on the E, 14 on the G, 12 on the E. So this line's a little bit more tricky, I'll just play it nice and slow again. Then you're back to the first line again, and he plays that twice in a row now because it's the finishing of the last bit. Then you play that line again. Back to the 13. Back to this 14, 13, 14, 17. 13, 14, 12. Then you're into the next line. Which leads into the slower bit of the solo. So that your 14 is stayed from the previous part. You just bring to 14 on the G, 3 of them, and then 15 on the B. Then your ring finger comes to 15 on the D, and you go to 13 on the B with your first finger, again muting that string in between. So it's 3 on the D, 1 on the B. If you can, keep the alternate picking going. Everything slides back a fret. 3 on the D, 1 on the B. Then your first finger comes to 12 on the D. Play 3 of them. The slowed down bit. 13 on the B, 12 on the G, 14 on the D, and you can sort of walk it down, or you can leave them on if you like, if you want them ringing into each other, or you don't. It's kind of musey to let them ring into each other, but he doesn't always do it. Then you have 13, 12 on the B to 14 on the G. So the first bit, then 12, 12, 12. It's quite nice to start with it quite flat, roll, roll. So that first bit. Then you come to 12 again on the B. Sorry, I'll do that again. So that's 12, 12 on the B, 13, 15. Come to 14 on the G with your middle, 15 on the D with your ring. Back to 15 on the B, you're going to go 15, 13, 12, ring, middle, index. Back to middle to play 13, ring on 14 on the G, middle to D on the 14. They're definitely two you want to let ring into each other. Next line is almost the same, 15, 13, 12 again, back to 13, this time you go with index to 12 on the G, and then finish 14. So those two. Now you have a nice bend on the 12th fret of the B. You're going to bring your ring finger so that you've got all 3 fingers playing the bend. You're going to bend it up and back. You want it's a half step bend. And you're going to play, so bend, release, back to 10 with your index finger, then 12 with your ring on the B, 12 with your middle on the G, index to D. And with all of this solo you want to get as much vibrato in as you can. last line, 12, 13, and then a full step bend. And then it's quite quiet in the background, but he releases it and pulls off to 12. And then you hit 14 on the D. Then the last bit, 15, 13, 12, back to 13, 14 on the G, 14 on the D, which we've had before. So I'll play through it at about half speed so that you've got something to practice along with, which isn't Matt Bellamy playing it up to speed. So it's something like this. And then to finish, he just plays that, what was the lead into the solo. He just plays that round, I think it's about 6 times. And then it stays on the long 7, and you can mess around with the slide. Well, I hope that was helpful, and any comments or questions, if you want to do any more Muse solos or anything like that, just pop them in the comment section below. Alright, take care.